Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Stacia. In today's video I'll be sharing with you guys how to sew an inbuilt corset, the pattern drafting and the sewing. If this is something you're interested in, please keep on watching, and if you're yet to subscribe, please hit on the subscribe button and turn notification bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. For this corset you need a Regina boning because we'll be sewing around the waist area. Okay, so let's get into the video. So we are going to draft out a normal corset pattern. The difference is just the length. Okay, your length should be around 24-25 inches. So I'll just label these lines that I have here. Shoulder line, this is my bust line, this is my under bust line, this is my waistline, and this is the length, which is 24 inches in my own case. Okay, so after labeling it like this, I'll just go ahead now and mark my shoulder measurement, which is 7 inches. Another 7 inches, I'll come down by 1 inches. But before then, I just marked my neck width 3 inches. Okay, another 7 inches, I'll come down by 1 inches, and then I'll connect it to my neck width. So guys, this video is very detailed. Okay, I'll make it as detailed as possible. So go ahead and connect the lines. So after connecting the lines, the next thing we'll be doing is you come down from that your line, you mark your armhole measurements. Okay, just divide your bust by 6 and then add 1.5 inches. That will give you your armhole. Okay, so I just marked my, and I'll connect the lines like this. So now this is our chest line. Okay, so this is now our chest line. So I'll connect the lines from that shoulder. I'll just mark here to be sure that I have the same figure in order for me to have a straight line. Now I'll just go ahead and connect it. Okay, and this is what we have. Okay, this is what we have. So now measure the distance from here to the other side, and I'll divide it by 2 the way you see me doing. Okay, and I'll make a mark at the middle. Okay, and then on that middle I went in by half of an inch. So I'll just go in by half of an inch on my armhole. After which, on my chest line, I'll just impute my chest measurement. Okay, divide your bust measurement by 4. So I'll connect those 3 dots together. So you can use your free hand if you do not have a cover. So after connecting it, this is what our armhole is looking like. The next thing now is to take our nipple to nipple measurement. Okay, in my own case it's 3.5 inches. So I'll take it from the chest line down to the length of this dress. Okay, and then I'll use my ruler to just connect the lines together, and this is what we have. So now I'll come to my chest line and I'll extend it by 1 inch, and I'll connect it like this. So after that, I'll come to my under bust line and I'll take 1 inches on both sides. So I'll place my tape like this, and I'll take 1 inches on this side and 1 inches on the other side. After which, I'll just connect it to the length of this top this way. So I'll just use my marker to do that. So after connecting it, I'll now connect it to the bust line as well. Okay, So after doing that, the next thing we'll be doing is we'll come to this chest line, that 1 inches we took earlier. So on that part, I'll be taking 1 inches on both sides as well. And I'll connect it to the bust point. So the next thing I'll do now is to come to the chest line and I'll go in by half of an inch. This will be the distance from one cup to another. Okay, then I'll go ahead now and start connecting the dots together. So I'll connect it to this part like so, and then I'll connect it to the other one and connect it into the armhole. Okay, so you can see what we have. So you can see that you can also use your free hand. So the next thing I'll do now is I'll just connect this line to the bust point, just to make it easy for me to get our cup. Okay, so you don't have to do that, and I'll connect it like so. So you can see that we now have one side of our cup. So to get the other side of our cup, we'll measure the distance between our bust line and our under bust. I have 3 inches. Okay, so now I'll mark that 3 inches, but I'll be adding half inch to the 3 inches. Okay, so this is because the bust around our armhole area is usually fuller. So go ahead and add half inch on your own body measurements. So go ahead and repeat the same process on yours, and you can see how I just connected it. So now I'll blend it into the armhole. So you can blend it into your armhole, or you can just take it straight, okay, depending on the shape you want. Okay, so me, I'll just take mine straight. I won't be blending it into the armhole. So this is what I have for our 2 cups. Okay guys, so our cups are ready now. Okay, they are ready. So go ahead now and place our body measurements. So I'll come to my chest line and mark my bust circumference measurement. Okay, I'll come to my waist, my under bust first. Okay, I'll measure this dart here. I'll place my under bust circumference measurement. Okay, I'll measure the dart and I'll replace it. Come to my waist, I'll repeat the same thing, measure the dart and replace it. And then I'll come to the length of this top and I'll place my hip measurement there. Okay, so now I'll just connect it together. So after connecting it this way, I'll go ahead now and add my sewing allowance. Okay, so I added 1.5 inches for my sewing allowance. After adding it up like this, I'll just go ahead and connect the lines together. So this is what we have. So now I'll come to the length of this blouse and I'll go up by 3 inches from the side. So this part is optional, okay, you don't have to do it. So I'll just connect it into the line this way. Okay, so after doing that now, I'll just go ahead and mark my neck width. So for this top, I used 4 inches for my neck depth, sorry, not neck width, for my neck depth, okay, I use 4 inches, and I went ahead to just create a round neckline. So this depends on the type of neckline you want. Okay, so on the shoulder I went up by half of an inch for my stitching allowance, and I'll connect it together. So I'll just go ahead now and trace out the armhole, and that is basically all for the drafting of these front bodies. So now I'll just go ahead and cut it out. So I'll just cut out just the side for now. I'll not be cutting out the cups because I'll be using this front piece to cut out the back pattern. So for the back pattern, you can see the lines I have. Okay, this is my chest line, waist, and then this is my length. Okay, those are the lines I have. So I'll take my shoulder measurement, come down by 1/2 inch, connect it to my shoulder width, which is 3 inches, and then I'll connect it to my chest line. So I just went ahead to remeasure this chest line, and I realized I made a mistake. So this is the new chest line. Okay, so I cancelled the former one. Okay, so now I'll measure the distance between these lines, the armhole, divide it by 2, and I'll just place it there. So I'll not be going in by 1/2 inch on the armhole for the back pattern, because we do not go in by 1/2 inch for your back bodies. Okay, so this is what I have for my armhole, and then I'll come now, place my waist measurement, add my waist dart. I'll bring my front piece. Okay, my front piece will be stopping at this mark here, so I'll mark the chest line to be stopping here, this particular mark here. Okay, I'll not be extending it to the 24 inches. So after marking it, go ahead and just connect the lines together. So after that, I'll just take in my dart, though it is not necessary. Okay, this is for those that want to take that. So I just took 3.5 inches and I connected it, and I'll take 1/2 inches on both sides on my waistline, and I'll also connect it. Okay, so this is what we have. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to create the back neckline. So for the back neckline, I came down by 7 inches. Okay, and I'll just go ahead and create a kind of a round neckline. So this is it for the back. So I'll add my 1/2 inch stitching allowance at the shoulder, and I'll connect it together. So I'll go ahead now and cut this out. So before, I'll go ahead now and cut the neck, cut the shoulders, and then I'll remove the back yoke. So I'll label that, and this is it for the back. So for the back, I went ahead to take out 2 inches. Okay, I took away 2 inches from the back because I'll be using a loop. So I'll go ahead and cut out the 2 inches. Okay, that's how wide I want my loops to be. So this is the back piece, and this is the front. So I'll go ahead and label this front piece, and I'll go ahead and cut out the front. Okay, so I'll first of all remove the front yoke. So this is our yoke, and then I'll go ahead now and remove the center front, which is this one, and I'll remove the side front, which is this, and I'll go ahead and label my cups. So go ahead and just make marks on your cups in a way that you will understand. Okay, you don't have to use my own way, in a way that you understand, so you won't mix it up. So that is our center front, side front, and this is our cup 1, cup 2, this is the front piece, and this is the back piece. So guys, this is the fabric I'll be using. Okay, so I have this Ankara and a crepe fabric, so I'll go ahead now and cut it out. So this is what I have after cutting it out. This is my Ankara. You can see that I added stitching allowance all around the cups. Okay, you can see, and this is the front yoke. So I added stitching allowance at the bottom part, as you can see, and this is the center front. I added stitching allowance when necessary. Okay, this is the side front. I cut it out on fold. Okay, and I also added stitching allowance, so I'm just making my marks so that I won't mix up the front and the back. So this is the back piece. Okay, you can see how I added stitching allowance as well. Okay, this is the back yoke. You can see where and where I added stitching allowance, so go ahead and cut out yours that way. So this is the center front and the side front. I'll remove my pins and I'll just place it like so. So I have four pieces including the lining. Okay, so I keep the lining aside and I just place the fabric like so, and I'll just pin this part down. So after pinning it down, I'll use half inches to stitch it. The half inches that I took for my stitching allowance, that is what I'll use to stitch it. After stitching it, this is the fabric I'll be using as my loop. So I'll just fold it the way you fold your bias, and I'll just place it randomly the way I want it to be on this dress. You can use a bias. Okay, so this is what I have after I was done stitching it on both sides. Okay, so the next thing I'll do is to bring the cups. So I'll be working with our cups now. Okay, so when working with your cups, be careful so that you won't mix it up. So I'll take one piece, one of the number 1 piece, and join it to the number 2 piece, making sure that they are aligning. So I'll stitch it using the half inch stitching allowance that I used in cutting the pieces out. Okay, so I'll repeat the same thing for the second one. Join the cups like so, following my arrows and my notches that I made on the fabric. And this is what I have. So I'll repeat the same thing for the lining piece as well. So this is it, okay, for both the lining and the fabrics. So I'll just bring my ball and I'll open the seams flat this way, and I'll give it a good press. Okay, and this is the cup I'll be working with. So I'll just fold my cup like this, and I'll just stitch it down using half of an inch. I'll just hold it small just to bring out the cup more. So this is it after ironing it. Okay, this, you can see what we have. So I'll bring the cups now, and these are cups. You can see how it has formed very well. So I'll just place my hemming gum like so. If you do not have a hemming gum, you can go ahead and stitch it out first. So I'll place my hemming gum and I'll place my cup on it and give it a good press. So after giving it a good press, this is what it is looking like. It has sticked to the fabric. Okay, so I'll go ahead and trim off the excess fabric. So after trimming it off like so, I'll bring the top, the front piece, and I'll place my cups. Okay, so I'll fold it into two like this, and I'll just mark the middle. Okay, I'll make a mark at the center, and I'll also do the same thing for my cup. I'll mark the center of the cup as well. After marking it, I'll go ahead and place it the way you see me placing it, and I'll pin it down. Okay, so when pinning this down, take your time. Okay, do not rush. You can pin it down, or you can just go ahead and just stitch it on your machine. So I'm pinning it down for the purpose of this video. So just go ahead and keep pinning it down. Okay, so I'll go ahead now and pin the other side as well. Okay, this is what it should look like when you are done pinning it down. So I'll go ahead and stitch it round, and I'll repeat the same thing for the other cup. So this is it. I'm done stitching it down. You can see what we have. So I'll keep that aside and bring the yoke. So the yoke, I'll just bring the yoke like so. So for the yoke, I cut out 2 pieces, okay, for both the lining. So I'm using the fabric as the lining as well. So I'll go ahead and stitch the neck and the armhole side. Okay, And this is it after I was done. I also give it a good press. So now I will bring it like so. I will notch the middle part of this fabric. So I'll just use my chalk to make a mark there, and I'll fold the front yoke this way, and I'll notch the middle as well, after which I'll place it on the fabric this way, and I'll pin it down, making sure that those notches are aligning. And I'll bring the lining piece. You can see I did the same thing that I have on my fabric on my lining, and then I'll just pin it down. I will pin this side down as well. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and stitch it from this side to this other side like so. So I'll stitch it like so. So basically I'm stitching the three together. So this is it after I was done stitching it down. So I'll go ahead and trim off this part. Okay, I'll turn it to the right side. After doing that, go ahead and also make notches. After making your notches, turn it out like this. Okay, so you can see what we have now. After turning it out, give it a good press. So this is the back piece. Let's go ahead and work with the back piece. So I'll just notch the top part of the back piece so that it will be easier for us to identify it on our fabric. Because once we remove this paper, it will be difficult to know which side is the top and the bottom. So I have 4 pieces here, including the lining. Okay, so I'll just arrange it well. After arranging it, I'll minus 2 inches again from this back piece, but I'll be replacing these 2 inches with an Ankara. Okay, so I'll just draw a straight line and I'll cut this out. So I'll go ahead now and cut it out on this Ankara fabric. Okay, and this is what we have after I was done cutting it out. I also added half inches for stitching it. Okay, so I'll go ahead now and stitch it down. And this is the back yoke. Okay, I'll open the back yoke as well. So I will stitch the armhole and the neckline. So I will be notching the neckline so that I will know the neckline, because you can see that it's looking similar to the armhole. So after notching it, I'll go ahead now and place it like so, stitch it. And this is the back. I have inserted my loop. If you don't know how to insert your loops, please check out my previous videos. Okay, so I've inserted my loops. I just folded it this way and I pinned it down. So this is my modesty panel. If you don't know how to create a modesty panel, please check my previous video. Okay, it is very detailed. And this is my neck. Okay, so I just brought the neck and I'll place it first like so to the modesty, to the back piece, and I'll place it like this. So I will not be stitching this neckline on the modesty panel. Okay, I'll only be stitching it on the back piece, and then I brought the lining for this one as well, and I'll pin it down. So basically I'll be stitching the tree as well. Okay, so I'll just arrange it like so, and I'll just go ahead now and stitch it all around. I'll only be leaving the bottom part. Okay, so I repeat the same process here. Bring the lining, place it like this, and I'll pin it all around and leave only the bottom side. So this is it. Okay, this is what our back piece is already looking like. Beautiful, right? So I'll keep that aside, and this is the front piece. I'll also join the front piece the side. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and fold the shoulder. Okay, so you just place your shoulder, use one of the piece to cover it up and then stitch on it. Okay, and then I'll join the sides. So after joining my shoulder and the sides, I'll go ahead and fix my boning. So I'm using a Regine boning, okay, because we'll be stitching on it. Okay, we'll be stitching it along the waist area, so use a sewable boning. Okay, so I'll go ahead now and fix my boning. So you can see that after fixing the boning, the top is looking rough. So after fixing your boning, go ahead and give this a good press. Okay, so I'll go ahead and give this a good press now. Okay, and this is what it is looking like. You can see how it's now flat. So what I'll do now is I'll go ahead and I cut out a fabric, a long strap. This is it for the bottom part. So I'll go ahead and fold it, okay, around the bottom part. You can also use your boning to do this, okay. So I'll fold it on one side, then I'll turn it to the other side. So this is the front piece. You can see how neat it is looking, okay. So I'll keep this aside and work on the down part. So this is the back the front pattern for the skirt, okay. It's pencil skirt. So I'll just place it like this, and I'll place my lining on it as well. So you can notice that the lining is shorter than the fabric. That is how it's supposed to be, okay. It's a full lining skirt. So I'll stitch the bottom part and the sides. So this is what I have, guys, okay. So this is the front piece and this is the back piece. The back piece is 2 piece, okay, because of the zipper allowance. I did the same thing. So I'll place the 2 back piece like this, okay, right side facing right. So I'll fix my zipper there, and then I'll stitch it from somewhere there, okay. That other part will be for the slit, okay. So this is the back piece. I fixed my zipper and I went ahead to close the back piece on all sides, including the top part. So I'll just use my hemming gum to hold down my sleeves when I'm done, okay. So the next thing I'll do now is to go ahead and join the skirt. But before I join it, I'll just cut out a back waistline. So I'll just create it this way, but you can actually cut out this back waistline when you are done joining your skirt, okay. It depends on what you want. So this is me cutting out the back waistline effect. Like I said, you can cut this on your client's body, you can cut it when you join your skirt, okay. So after cutting it out, I'll just go ahead and join the back piece, right side facing right side this way, and I'll stitch it by the side with my stitching allowance. So this is our skirt and I am done stitching it by the sides using my body measurement. So go ahead and do yours. So the next thing we'll do now is to bring the top part of this dress, and this is it. So what I'll do now is to mark my waist measurement on it. So I'll be measuring my shoulder down to my waist, which is 16 inches, but I'll be adding 1 inches, okay, for stitching allowance. So I'll be marking out 17 inches. So this is me measuring 17 inches, and I'll just measure that 17 inches down, but it won't be getting to that loop, okay. So it will not be getting to the loop. So the joining of our skirt to this top part will not get to the loop. So this is me trying to recreate my back effect on the top part of these bodies. So you can see how I placed it, and I'm trying to get the back effect on the top part, okay. So ensure that when you are doing this, the side where you join the upper part of your bodies, okay, the side where you join the back piece and the front piece should be aligning with the skirt. I hope that is clear. So you should align with your skirt, okay, and do not stitch your skirt down to your loop area. So I will just place the skirt like this way. So the 2 back side will be touching each other, right side facing right side, and making sure that the joining of the skirt and the joining of the top parts are on the same line. So this is me. I have gone ahead to stitch one side, and this is what it is looking like, okay. You can see that I did not get to the loop, you can see, okay, and you can also see that the edge of the skirt is also touching the side of the upper part. So I will turn it over and I will just do the other side the same way I did that other part, and this is it. This is what it is looking like. So guys, thank you so much for watching. This is basically all for the making of this inbuilt corset. If you find this video helpful, do not forget to hit the subscribe button and do not to give this video a thumbs up. So I see you in my next video. Bye for now.